Hello and welcome to the Are We Still Here podcast. We have some exciting guests on the pod this week, and although it's not everybody who we are having at our event in May, on May the 11th in Manchester for the Beyond the Basics event, it is some of the panel, and I'm so excited to have them. You might know them, maybe, if you're familiar with the pod. We've definitely had them on before, and I think we've been on all each other's podcasts by this point because we're all good pals. It is Michelle Carroll and Danny Bosworth. So thank you so much for coming on, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Um, I feel like I don't need to introduce you both because you are both a name within the industry. But anyone who doesn't know these guys, they are coaches and specialize in different things, I would say, though.
Yeah.
I would say there's an overlap of all of what we all care about as coaches in the industry, which is, values and ethics. But at the same time, I think it would be good if you could right, let's put a different take on this. If you could summarize what you do as a coach within the industry in 3 to 5 words, Danny, you're going first.
Okay.
What would that be?
So I
Three to
I
five words.
would phrase it as I help people work with their bodies rather than against it
Okay,
to achieve their
that's
goals.
slightly more, but I'll take the "this" out. That's no, that's I reckon that's really good. Michelle, no pressure. You've got to follow that.
I'm literally panicking. It's like when someone asks you to tell a fun fact about yourself. I'm gonna go with beyond body composition.
Oh yeah, good. Good. I like that. Um, and what are you both going to be talking about at the Beyond the Basics event?
So I'm going to be talking about navigating your health and fitness goals. Well, navigating your fitness goals whilst keeping your health intact.
Hmm. That's good.
And I'm gonna be talking about moving beyond body composition, obviously. She's got those three words in, there's a common theme. But basically, how we can support our clients in terms of moving beyond the scale, moving beyond data that you track, and basically how we can change how our clients look and feel in their bodies.
Amazing. And I'm also going to be at the event, if you didn't know. I'm going to be talking about moving beyond data and learning to trust your intuition, but also helping our clients trust their intuition better. We're also going to have Sasha at the event, who's going to be talking about program design, and we're going to have Chloe Stevens talking all about pelvic floor, like moving beyond just Kegels, basically. So I think that I think we've covered all areas really well.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially where people get, like, obviously, as the name suggests, beyond the basics, right? Because the basics of any nutrition or PT qualification is program design, is data, is general nutrition principles. But to be a good coach, you need to absolutely move beyond the basics because there is so many coaches out there, right?
100%. And like on my topic, there's so many coaches that do help people achieve their fitness goals, but often don't pay any attention to the client's health and well-being beyond that.
Yeah.
And I think that there are really similar themes running through all of our talks that tie in together so well, and that will hopefully help any coaches that come better support their clients, not just in the gym, but and not just with their body composition and that kind of thing, the obvious things that we jump to as health and fitness coaches, but far beyond that, so that they can actually change their lives.
Yeah. What, like when you think of like that beyond the basics, what do you what do you think that means to you within your business personally? Like, is there something that really stands out about like what you do differently that takes you beyond that basic, that
I
like
think the first thing that comes to my mind is like individualization. So making sure that each client receives the right guidance for them as an individual, making sure that there's no sort of like one size fits all element of coaching. There might be, general principles that apply to a lot of people, but everything is specific to the person in front of me. And I know it is with you guys as well. And that's so important to get the most out of the client and help them achieve the best results possible.
yeah. What about you, Michelle? Because obviously the basics and what we're led to believe is like the industry standard is a lot of like transformation photos and stuff like that. What does beyond the basics mean for you in that capacity?
For me, I think it's about showing people that the basics that we think exist are actually completely different, but most people already have them within themselves. And it's actually what most people actually want. So, like, the basics of a healthy life and a fulfilling life is like confidence in yourself, confidence in your body, and feeling good. Again, can looking good be a part of it? Yes, but that's not the be all and end all. And that's not our prime reason for doing anything. And that's something I think a lot of people settle for, right? A lot of coaches will settle for results for their clients, where it's like, oh yeah, like I lost all this weight and now I like my body. It's like that's one that is not going to be body image that is sustainable. That's not creating a resilient person because if a client only likes themselves or likes their body because they're lean, they don't actually have body image that will last long or body confidence. They have like this like conditional self-acceptance. So for us to go beyond that, we need to go beyond the basics of just dieting people to let them become body confident. We need to understand what makes people body confident and then bring them along the journey to get there.
I
Yeah.
think what you said there about like we're not saying that it's not about looking good. I think that's such a big misconception of, oh, well, if you don't believe in transformation photos, you must not care about image at all. It's like we wouldn't go get our bloody hair done or like care about makeup if image was like irrelevant to the chat. It's like we're saying you can still care about those things, but we're saying it's not the only thing. And I think the basic bitches type of coaching is thinking that that is the be all and end all. And for anyone who's coming to the event, like already has already bought a ticket, there is still a handful of tickets left. Um, it's realizing that you've always had that underlying niggle that you know there's more.
Yeah. And it's also like it's where it's the intention of your action. So like for example, if you want to change your body composition, it's questioning where is that urge coming from? Like is that really the answer or is there other work that needs to come alongside that? Or is it other work, for example, on your body image that's needed instead of changing your body composition? Because sometimes, those surface level goals can be an obvious kind of solution or goal to set. But really, there's deeper work that needs to come alongside that. And that's exactly, like it goes in so well with the theme of beyond the basics, like question your urges and question your intentions, and ask, okay, like where is this goal coming from? Is it from a place of like self-respect and positive body image and like appreciation for yourself and caring for how you look, or is it coming from a place of like, um, I've always felt really uncomfortable in my own skin, and I dislike myself, and therefore I want to change.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's going beyond like the mainstream advice, I think, as well. Like Sash and I often joke about some of the things that we see online from coaches and have previously liked to send each other the little walking man emoji because we're just like, this is very pedestrian. Like it's all you are telling people something that they already know. It's like the smokers like buying the packet with the cigarettes with the horrible pictures of lungs on. And it's like, this is the damage you can do. And people are like, I'm still going to smoke anyway. So it's similar with like the transformations. It's like, I probably know that these aren't great for me to constantly scroll my phone and go through, or I probably know that it's not great for me to always focus on image specifically. But I just keep doing it and I don't know why. And it's just going beyond that and also helping your clients understand that is a skill. And that's, I think, what we wanted to cover in the event is like helping coaches know how to take it that next step so that their clients are like, oh my God, this is what coaching is. This is
Yeah.
how it should feel, not just like I am doing a transformation shoot or I am being told that my standard of success is having 15% body fat. Like again, it says like I've had clients come to me before saying my last coach told me I needed to get to X% body fat. I'm like, did you care about that? And they're like, not really. It's just the standard for women that we all had to achieve. What? Like,
Let me
what
talk
what
to them,
about?
please.
Send them to Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think it'd be good to talk about as well. Was there a turning point in either of your own fitness journeys where you realized that the fitness industry just wasn't cutting it in the advice that it was giving you?
I think for me, it was probably somewhere. I mean, there's two kind of things that probably contributed to this realization. One, working in a pure gym with loads of other personal trainers, some of which were great, but others were
Not
doing
great.
their clients a lot of harm.
Yeah.
and not really getting them anywhere. So that was a bit of a realization moment of like, we need to do better. And I want to coach to a much higher standard than this. And then to during my time bodybuilding, I think like putting myself through that process for so long and feeling quite like unfulfilled towards the end of it and realizing how bad my health was. That was a realization of, and also how bad so many people's health around me was in the bodybuilding community. But behind the scenes, like they weren't openly talking about it and they were all coaching people in a very similar way. It's like it just felt so inauthentic. And I was like, behind the scenes, all of these people are in tatters. Like their relationship with food is so poor, their body image is so poor, they have amenorrhea, but like that's not what they're presenting on surface level. And that for me was a realization moment of like, oh my God, everyone is so effed up,
Mm.
but it looks like they're thriving and this needs to change.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I see a lot of that now though on social media, like bodybuilders who are saying it'll be like a video of them post show, and it's like, little did I know, the trend at the minute, which is like, little did they know that from this day they would start binge eating sort of whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
and I see a lot of that on my social media, but I'm obviously on that side, so I feel like I see that type of content more. Do you still feel like the bodybuilding industry is really like inauthentic?
I think it's got better because more people are talking about like the struggles they're facing with, for example, their relationship with food and that type of thing. But there's still a lot of smoke and mirrors, and there's, a lot of people struggling behind the scenes, and not openly talking about that. Especially, I think, general population, people in the general population who aren't pro bodybuilders and kind of like fall into the sport, they are the ones who, they don't have open and honest social media accounts where they're talking about their struggles and that kind of thing. And so they feel like they don't have anywhere to turn when they're struggling. But they might then still be posting, like state pictures and things like that, and it looks like they're thriving. So I think there's much more openness and honesty than there was in the past. People talk about things like binge eating disorder and their poor relationship with food and the fact their body image isn't great, but still don't really address it how they should be addressing it. And I think a lot of the time the reason they're talking about it is because they know that it's going to get engagement as opposed to because they actually want to solve their issues or they want to help people.
Yeah. Yeah. Bloody Instagram.
And
Yeah.
that's the problem, right? Because like we were talking about this when I had Jess on the podcast, so, like this like authenticity and integrity where it's like you have all these coaches saying, I'm so confident dieting helped me get control of my body. And it's like, I've heard you tell me though that you can eat whatever you want. You just spit it out before you swallow it. Like I've had people literally come up to me and list the DSM-5 criteria for eating disorders. And then I go onto their Instagram and it's like this physique update and this weekly weigh-in about like, we're chipping away at things and things are difficult sometimes, but they're going on great. And it's like, if I gave you a Tupperware box that you had no idea the macros of or the exact weight of, you would cry yourself to sleep. Like that is not living in alignment with your values.
Yeah.
No, I think people are worried about what people are going to think about them so much.
Hmm.
It's like I think nothing makes you more, I hate the word because it's a bit cringy, but like relatable than actually just being honest about what's going on and like your struggles. And like even we spoke about before, like certain influencers who will post what they eat in a day, but it's not what they eat in a day. Or like I know coaches who have got six-pack abs who don't eat a vegetable or fruit because they don't like it, but then they're telling the clients they need to because it's important. And I'm like, excuse me, it's the Spider-Man meme again. It's like, what? Who are you? What are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? But yeah, I think that's the issue. What about you, Michelle? Was there like a turning point when you, because obviously I know you really I really want to see those pictures one more time actually when you did a transformation shoot, but
No, please. It's nothing sacred. It's like I only realized when I was chatting to someone after they were like, it literally looks like you're holding a pair of testicles. It's like the tricep extension. And I'm like gripping it. I'm like cupping the end of it. It's like a like a rope tricep extension with these like big, huge balls at the end. And I can't look at it now. I'm like, oh my God. It's like, was your man just taking the piss out of me at the time? It's humiliating, but it's also really funny. So that maybe the turning point is that I can look at that and laugh instead of put it all over my marketing. But I think something for me was I did that like photo shoot kind of thing. And again, it was COVID. I was working in healthcare. It was a true cry for help, whatever. But my coach was actually very supportive of my kind of relationship with food and body image and as best as he could, obviously, because I was dieting. And I remember the day of the shoot and I woke up being like, this is the leanest I've been. And I remember looking around and be like, I still don't really like my body. I remember being like, this is not very like hashtag relatable, but like I got the like quote unquote dream body and it still wasn't good enough. And I remember looking around being like, is this it? Like I thought there would be some kind of like Oprah coming down from the clouds and like, this is it. My life has meaning now. And I remember just looking around being like, eh. It's like it hadn't fixed anything because again, I had changed my body composition, but I hadn't moved beyond that. I hadn't addressed the beliefs I had about my body. I hadn't really addressed the beliefs I had around food. And yes, while I didn't necessarily binge eat because I was able to like stick to this macro plan and stick to this kind of thing, it didn't really change how I felt about things. It just kind of reinforced this idea for me that the more I tried to control things, the more control I felt I had. And in reality, what was the turning point for me was letting go of that, of getting to that like lean place and then being like, well, still hasn't long term changed how I felt about my body at all. And then I suppose for me then it's kind of similar to Danny, like when I worked as a PT and some of the stuff that I saw PTs doing. And then I was doing a master's at the time, so I was able to choose my own like research project and like other people are doing shit like hydration and like vitamin uptake in sport. And I was like, this is a load of bollocks. I'm doing something I actually find interesting. So I did a research project looking at disordered eating in fitness professionals. Um, and there was no real body of evidence for that. And I was like, but I'm seeing this all of the time. Exactly. I was looking at everyone being like, what is happening here? Um, and then I suppose the more I learned about relationship with food and body image stuff, the more I was like, well, this is what coaches are missing, like this is the basics. This is the fundamentals of behavior change and helping support people change their health, their nutrition, and their training for life. And we're not being taught that. So that was kind of, I suppose, where I saw the gap and just kind of where I felt like the fitness industry needed to move into, and especially with coaching.
Yeah, because otherwise, if you think about it, it is like the blind leading the blind. You've got maybe coaches like I'm talking to you here, so you know this so well, but you've got coaches who are struggling with their own relationship with food, leading people who are struggling with their relationship with food, who then probably go on to tell their mates who are probably struggling with their relationship with it. It's like, what type of pyramid scheme is this? Like, it's not what we need at all. Um, but yeah, I think yeah, it's that's and I've said to you before, like I genuinely believe like in 5, 10 years time, like everything, all the work Michelle's doing now is going to be like, oh my God, Carroll et al. On the paper
Oh my
2025.
God, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm
Carroll.
so bitter that all I'm doing it for is so I can turn around and be like, I told you so. I don't actually care about bettering people. It's just about proving everyone else wrong.
But it is, I think like the work that you're doing now is like as the industry moves forward, the penny's going to start to drop and you are at the forefront of that. So you're doing God's work. Um, I think my own journey, like without maybe talking about like my personal one, because you guys, it's very similar in that sense. But I actually think at one point in my coaching career, I realized that I needed to move beyond the basics because when I first started coaching, I posted transformation photos because that's what I thought you were supposed to do. I also had come from a background in marketing, although it was more like SEO and content and stuff. It wasn't necessarily like that the image led stuff that I was doing. It just didn't feel right, but I was doing it anyway because it was what I thought I should do. And I was still very much true to my beliefs and values that it was beyond image. But there's me posting a transformation photo, then trying to write in the caption like, no, but they've really improved
Yeah.
their relationship with it, like trying to cover my tracks and make it like, no, no, guys, honestly, I'm just doing this so you look at the post. And it wasn't until I actually just drew a line under that I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. Um, because it just doesn't feel right. And I think on Danny's pod when I was on, you asked me about that, being in like a mentorship where they pushed doing it. And what did I notice in my business when I stopped? And I actually listened to Michelle. I'm such a fangirl. I actually listened to Michelle on Katie's podcast this morning when I was having my breakfast. And you were saying like when you stopped posting transformations, you had a drop off. I actually didn't. I didn't have a drop off in inquiries at all. It was like I feel like I just needed to believe in what I was offering truly. And those people found me, and the right people found me. So the
Yeah.
people I was working with when I was doing transformation-led content attracted a certain type of person, and it wasn't wrong, but it was just that I wasn't the right fit for them. So my retention wasn't great. Since I stopped doing that, my retention's amazing. Like I
Yeah.
work with people for much longer, they get much more out of the process. They are invested into it not being a quick fix. They understand. So I think when I start to draw a line under that and also moved beyond um coaching for steps and coaching for tick this box if you drank 2 liters of water today, like that type, like the Atomic Habits version of coaching, like the basics. Like when I moved beyond that, I felt so much more fulfilled as a coach as well,
Yeah.
and could see myself doing this for a much longer period of time. Like I actually thought, is this what coaching is? Is this all I want to do for the next however many
Yeah.
life? Like, oh my God, what's that about? And then once I realized what coaching could be, it opened up. Like Mass once said to me, it's like you're in a room and you outgrow that room, and then there's a door in the corner, and you open up that door, and then the room's even bigger. It's like that every time. And that's your evolution as a coach. It should always be like you're stepping into this bigger room, and it feels a bit daunting to start with, but then you grow into it, and then you go into.
Yeah.
I do really believe that.
On that note as well, it's funny because I I used to think that you had to be like constantly on Instagram and like posting all of like literally 24/7 to grow a business. But actually when you are so in touch with like your values and you have such a strong message, you know why you do what you do, you know how you can help people, and you get that message out there and help them understand how you can help them and how addressing their struggles could genuinely change their life. You will attract people even if you're not constantly on social media. And this is something that I was saying to a friend the other day is that like I actually am on like stories and posts probably much less now than I was this time last year, but I'm getting more inquiries through the door because the quality of what I'm putting out there is so much better. And I'm actually much more methodological with like my marketing. And that for me is so much more sustainable over the long term because I don't want to live my life constantly on social media. I don't want to have to be on there all the time. And I think that's a really important thing for coaches to consider as well is like, what do you actually want your life to look like? Do you want to have to be on social media like constantly 24/7, or do you actually want to be so good at what you do and so clear on your messaging and put out really good quality stuff so that people are attracted to you regardless of whether you're on that 24/7?
Yeah. And I think energy is such a big thing. Like I'm a massive believer, like when you're confident in what you believe in and how you're
Yeah.
showing. And one of the reasons we're doing this event is because we want to help coaches feel more confident and have more clarity, is that just like ripples through. And like you say, you don't need to be online all the time because you're at the forefront of people's mind when you do post with good quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so bang on, Danny. I think in when I used to work in marketing, there's always that chat around like 7 touch points before someone like inquires or buys something from you or whatever it might be. But I do think in the coaching process, it's a lot longer because ultimately, if you think about how many people require your services, it's not like they need it every year for the rest of their lives. It's like hopefully they should need it once, really, really good, and then they become an avid fan and then they follow you because they believe in what you do and they're loyal to that. But it's might take them, like the smoker who wants to quit, it might take them 5, 10 years to decide. It might take them 6 months after they follow you, but you're not in control of that. All you can do is keep showing up and reinforcing your message.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where like I think something I like to remind people of when they're like, oh, but like this is easier. Like if I post transformation photos, I'll get way more inquiries, engagement, whatever. It's like, but we have to consider legacy. You know, it's like, what do you want people to see when they look at your business? Do you want to be the person that, yeah, you get 50 in, but you also get 50 out because the people that are coming to you for transformations only want physique changes and they want that as quickly as possible. So when the wheels come off or things don't go to plan, that's when those clients stop dropping off. That's when they stop being as engaged in the process, when you can't give them this really quick fix because you're trying to do things in a sustainable fashion, you know. Do you want to be a person that is like values led, you know, trying to better the industry and better your clients long term? Or do you want your legacy to be, well, here's a load of pictures of people in their pants. They all came back 2 months later, infinitely worse and struggling with binge eating. Or, you know, they all went to one of us for some like quote unquote aftercare. Like sometimes I like to
You
describe, yeah, our coaching is like being like a foster home. It's like after someone has damaged you and your relationship with food, it's like you come in here and we'll look after you, which probably isn't great for like a savior complex perspective. But do you know what I mean? It's like when you are values led, and I think as well, like to tag on to what Danny and what Jess is saying as well, it's like I think there's this like misinformation or like misunderstanding. I don't know. I can't think the words too early for me. That like by not selling transformations, that kind of stuff, or by like waiting to move beyond aesthetics, that it's like there will be a drop off forever and that your business is worse and that you have to take this big, huge financial hit. But like you were saying, Jess, you moved into standing in integrity, standing by your business values, working towards that positive legacy. And there was no drop off. You know, clients were staying with you for longer.
Yeah. And the relation and like because I invested in being a better coach and not being somebody who just told people to eat less and move more, guess what? Like I actually really help people. Whereas I'm not saying, and I'm sure people who worked with me back then would say, "Oh no, you did help me," but it didn't feel like that to me. Now that I look
Yeah.
at what I can do with my business, um, and yeah, I think that's what you said about the 50 and 50 out with clients. It is a revolving door, and since this podcast, we're talking about our event, and it's going to be mainly for coaches as a coach, how do you find attracting people in your business? Is it a stressful process? Because I guess what will make it more stressful if you've got 50 in and then you need to replace 50. That's stressful AF. Like you do not want that. Surely you want to work with people who want to work with you, who it doesn't feel like you're constantly chasing leads. Like it is much more organic, it's much more natural. People come to you and they know what you're about and they're already bought in, not because it's like, oh my God, I need to, oh, okay, just it's just chaotic. It's chaotic selling and it shouldn't be. You are value selling. You're selling a service at the end of the day. It shouldn't be like, I'm just trying to get this person in so I can just quickly do this for them. Like it's just mental how we approached it.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%.
okay, cool. And then in regards to events, then I know both of you have done quite a few talks over the years. Michelle did a really good one up in Newcastle recently for International Women's Day. Danny, I know you have hosted quite a few journaling sessions this year, but have done talks in the past historically as well. Why do you want to do this event, and what do you think is going to be different about it?
I think it's such an incredible collaboration. And we're literally with who we've got there, obviously us, legends, um, and Chloe and Sasha, we're covering all bases. And I think most events kind of focus on one area or are such a mixed bag that it's a bit random. Like sometimes they'll have, someone talking on strength and conditioning, another person talking about body image, extra, etc. However, this event is really going to cover all bases on all things like health and fitness and how to genuinely change your clients' lives. And all of our talks and I guess all of our values actually are so in line. And so it's just going to fit so well and really give you all of the tools that you need to support your clients if you're a coach who really cares about your clients' health and well-being as well as their ability to achieve their fitness goals. So I just think it's going to be an amazing collaboration that's really going to cover all bases. And we all want to change the industry for the better in a really similar way, but have different strengths. And I think that just works really well.
Yeah, I think as well what you said there, like how it all fits really nicely together. Already, I'm imagining it's like it's going to tell a story in my head
Yeah.
because it's going to go through each talk and it's all going to make sense and not like follow on, but like just link really well that the penny is going to drop in each of those chats for something else because of the chat you've already had.
Yeah. And I also think in-person connection is obviously so important and we don't get enough of it in the industry. We all obviously work online, which is great and has its benefits, but I think in-person events like this are so important as a coach and not only to, get that connection and kind of further your education, but also to build your network as well. And we're going to have a network of incredible coaches there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be great because like I have learned so much, even just from chatting to you guys, and especially with I find carving out space in the industry in terms of considering fitness and health beyond just aesthetics and beyond fat loss. It can feel a little bit isolating, kind of like you're doing it on your own. So to have that kind of in-person support from you guys and to learn from you guys and to see what has been done by people that have gone before you without selling out, without doing anything, or to have maybe done things that you're like, well, I'm kind of doing these now and I'm kind of afraid to move away from it. Like you are literally going to learn from people who have succeeded in doing what you only have ever dreamt was possible, right? And I think to learn from you guys, I'm already so excited. I have my little notepad ready,
Mm.
but there is so much to learn, both in terms of like knowledge, but also from a connection perspective, because we all need, like, what is it? A rising tide raises all boats. Like, like if we do want the industry to succeed,
That one from the Bible. Oh.
you can tell who was raised Catholic. Well, I don't even know for sure. But, it's like for all of us to be working towards a better industry, like there is no competitiveness. There is no, if I get this client, that means you can't get any clients. It's everyone is working towards, like we've kind of said throughout, like building that legacy that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I even like working with you guys as well. Like especially as I've got further into my career, I think when you first start out, there's a lot of comparison. Like we said, like when you first begin coaching, you might think I need to do transformation photos because everyone else is doing transformation photos, or comparison in a bad way where you're like, why are they getting clients and I'm not, that type of thing. And I think realizing that it's more about like not to Pinterest quote you, but collaboration over competition is so important. And being Danny, stop smiling. And being in, I literally wrote that one down. I've got it on my vision board behind me. Being in a room with other people where you're able to collaborate, if you are having those feelings of maybe insecurity or feeling like you're not good enough, or like you're in the right room because one, you are taking steps to learn more and want to do more, but also like instantly, like one of my really good friends, Lauren, she's like a social media marketer, and she always says create, not compete. And I'm
Yeah.
such a big believer in that, like us coming together to create, hopefully it'll inspire people to go on to create other things for themselves, whether or not they realize from one of those talks that they have some knowledge that they're not giving their clients, that they could go away and create like a mini training series off the back of it. Or actually they meet somebody at that event and they go away and they connect and then they're doing a collaboration later down the line. Like it really does open up so much opportunity, but it is putting yourself in the right rooms and just opening yourself up to that opportunity is key.
Yeah, 100%. I've honestly, like, doing the job that we do has become so much more enjoyable since I've connected with like-minded people in the
Hmm.
industry. And I just think it's an absolute game changer. So for anyone that is like on the fence about the event, even that will be 100% worth it.
Yeah, 100%. That's how me and Sash met, like I had gone over to Manchester to go do like a video course with Simon, and I knew that they worked together, but I met Simon anyway, got chatting to him. This is like 2018, I think it was. And then ended up following Sash, and then we just got chatting. But then I don't think we actually properly met in person till like 2021. And I went over to Manchester for the day, and I was telling her a bit about marketing and like my background and giving her some tips on that. And she was giving me some tips on program design. And we just literally had like we went and trained in the gym for an hour, and then we just met for coffee, and then that was it. And then the rest was history. We were just friends from then.
Yeah.
So it really does open up loads of opportunity. So the Beyond the Basics event, it's on May the 11th. We have sold out the early bird. We sold them out in like literally a couple of hours in the morning.
Despite our best efforts to stop that from happening.
So as we mentioned last week when we were on the pod, we had to record on Friday last week because we were supposed to record on Wednesday, but Wednesday morning was absolute chaos. and mine and Sasha's phone was blowing up because we were just having so many issues with the link. So we set up something on Go Cardless, then it went a little bit wrong, and then we set it up on Stripe. Then Michelle was charging people £1,500 for to come along. That's basically the champagne package. That's the meet and greet. You get a
Yeah,
bottle
yeah.
of champagne that you
We
share.
will
That's where you
literally
get
do
VIP
anything.
access.
Yeah, yeah, to anything for £1,500.
Basically we'll give you lead gen for a year, stuff like that, whatever. So you just get loads of bonuses for the 1,500 quid ticket. No, just kidding. But we actually have the real price tickets left. So they're in all of our bios at the minute. I'll put them in the show notes as well, so you can still get your hands on that. But yeah, maybe you know a coach in the industry, maybe you want to come along together. It might be a nice opportunity to meet up. And yeah, I think we would love to have you there. Any other closing thoughts, guys?
Just why haven't you got your ticket for the event yet? Like you
That
need to
it
be
is
there.
for the quality of what you're getting because we're literally just running the event to cover the cost of the venue. That's like we're not out here to, well, I was for a while to charge people £1,500 for a day, you know? Like we are
Michelle was like, there will be signs that I've made a profit, and she'll rock up in a fur coat, and that kills me.
and we haven't sold many tickets. I'm like in full Gucci. No, we obviously won't be doing that. But no, I just think because like we are running this for the love of it, you know, like we're not running it to like, you know, put ourselves in Dubai or anything because we definitely won't be doing that with the price we're charging for the tickets. But, you know, we're just doing it to give you the opportunity to learn more, to better yourself and to connect with more like-minded individuals and help you move beyond basic fitness experience, I suppose, coaching in general in terms of knowledge, but also in terms of your connection.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If I had an event like this when I first started, oh my God, it would have like lit a fire underneath me. I would have been like, oh my God, there's more. Like, there's more to this thing. Yeah, it would have been so good. And not even when I just first started. Also, if I felt like I'd been in the industry, maybe flying solo for a bit long, or I felt like I was a bit stagnant, or actually there was an area that I felt like I didn't know enough about, and I needed to, like relationship with food, or I still get people to do this, and I feel like it doesn't align, that type of thing. It's a great opportunity, an open forum to be able to chat about it too.
Yeah.
Amazing.
100%.
So, links in our bio, guys. If you have already bought a ticket, please do tag us on your stories. We would love to know that you're coming along. And we will be back next week for another episode of the Are We Still Here podcast. And we will see you all real soon. Thanks for coming on, both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Perfect.